Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits episode. Timon, do you know why this is the best day of the 2020s?
You're about to tell me.
This is the Cadillac Vistiq, and we have just found for the first time in any General Motors product ever, it now has hands-on lane centering, which means it doesn't need to be a pre-mapped road to get lane centering. First time ever we found this in a GM product, dude.
That is quite amazing.
So for those of you who don't know, General Motors have had a pretty good driver assistance system called Super Cruise. And the main problem with Super Cruise has always been it only works on the highways that have been previously mapped with HD data sent to the vehicle. And the problem is where we live in northern Colorado, all of our highways are not mapped. There's like, whatever it is, the Fort Collins section of highways just do not have mapping, which means you're always hands-on driving this vehicle and you have to steer it in the middle of the lane. Now that doesn't sound like much of a chore, but compared to Tesla FSD and a Model X, which is a competitor to this vehicle that drives itself everywhere and you pretty much just monitor it, it's a huge competitive disadvantage to General Motors to have this lane centering function locked to pre-mapping. Well, Timon and I have borrowed this Cadillac Vistiq from the Dellenbach Cadillac store here in Fort Collins, and I have something on my glasses, a bug. I have incredible news to the viewers, which is we were just driving this Timon down I-25, and I was showing the viewers how annoying it is in our out-of-spec reviews video, how annoying it is that Super Cruise doesn't work around here and we can't test it. And then the car started lane centering. And we were like, what? We've never seen this. This is crazy. And that is the great news of this video. We're gonna show everyone the new GM hands-on driver assistance, which is sort of like Super Cruise Mini, and it works on any road that has lane markings and it just follows them. Very basic level 2 driver assistance. However, it is just something that is so needed in every vehicle just to have lane centering around. And then when you're on a pre-mapped road, it will automatically switch into Super Cruise and your hands off, eyes on, just cruising down the middle of the lane. So Timon, this is a huge change from all of our General Motors testing. Are you excited about this?
Super excited.
Super Cruise excited, actually. So let's go in the Vistiq. And if you guys want to see a review of this, head to our Out of Spec Reviews channel, where we have a tip to tail and driving review of the new $80,000 three-row electric SUV, which is something everyone's been asking for. We don't have enough of those. And this one's actually a base one, which is kind of cool. So they go up to 100 grand. This one's 80. We also have a video on this channel, probably coming after this, comparing this to the Volvo EX90. So much Vistiq stuff going on today. Let me go show you the new hands-on, eyes-on lane centering function. Well guys, since we shot this video, I spoke to my buddy who goes by Nebula. He's online in the forums, knows everything about GM products. He mentioned, yes, this is a new feature for model year 26 Super Cruise enabled vehicles. It doesn't sound like it's going to come to previous vehicles. So if you're thinking about buying a Blazer, Optic, you name it, whatever new GM product with Super Cruise, you kind of should just get a model year 26 so you're guaranteed this feature. Why it's not going to be updated over the air to previous models, I'm not sure. I also don't know if that's 100% confirmed, but at least from everything we can gather right now, this is just for model year 26 vehicles from GM equipped with the Super Cruise package, and it's awesome. So that's reason enough to just get 26s when you can. So, Timon, we have been complaining about General Motors' driver assistance system since the dawn of time because they were so insistent on making sure it could only be used on pre-mapped roads. And it works really well on pre-mapped roads.
Yep.
If it has the mapping, Super Cruise is one of my favorite systems to do a long trip on, because even in vehicles as big and wide and as affected by wind as like a Hummer EV would be, isn't that same RV we were behind earlier?
Yep.
Okay, how'd they end up over there? Even as, you know, in a situation where this person just sped up so that we couldn't get in. That was hilarious. You know, in a Hummer EV, Super Cruise works perfect.
Yep.
Pretty impressive. So, not to knock the system when it's functional, it just had a very limited
use case.
Yeah, limited area of functionality. Now, everything has changed. And this, to be totally transparent, haven't done any research. I don't know if this is going to make its way to other GM stuff, but I'm guessing it will.
It hopefully does.
And I hope it comes through an over-the-air software update to the rest of the fleet.
Yep.
Because that will make Lyric Optic, all these other vehicles, you know, and Chevy side too, Blazer, Equinox, Silverado, Sierra with Super Cruise. It'll make all those vehicles so much more desirable because now you can get lane centering wherever you are. So the idea is you now have 2 stages of lane centering. We are going to test this Lyrics Vistiq's understeer capability. Yep. Oh wait, I need V mode. There it goes. And on the brakes. So now you have basically no driver assistance. You have adaptive cruise. Then you have adaptive cruise with lane centering that works even on roads like this. And you can see I have this steering wheel logo that's white. Now it does take a minute to engage, which is a little bit weird, but it eventually will feel comfortable enough that it will just lock on lane centering like that right there. I have to keep my hands on the wheel and it will ding at you if you don't touch the wheel. We are going to merge on the highway here, but
at some point it will ding at you.
There we go. There's that, and we're going to get on the highway. And so you just put a little torque in. It's not a capacitive wheel, so it's just looking for opposite torque, very similar to how like Tesla's basic autopilot system works. And what's really nice about this system is so many highways, especially like this one here in our area, I-25, is not a mapped highway. So you'd always have to just sit in the car and just keep it in the middle of the lane, which technology can do super easily. And it just takes all the fatigue out of driving just to have it stay in the middle of the lane. So what we get now is, you can see it's in Super Cruise at the moment. It's slowing down massively. Don't know why, but we are. I'm raising the speed. And eventually you're going to notice that construction zone detected. There really is no construction zone. We are going to pop out of Super Cruise. So right now we're in hands-free. Everything is on. It's green. I should be able to do lane changes as well. Looking for an opening, changing lanes, no problem. And whoa, it's freaking out, right? It's going all over the place. It's on the brakes. It doesn't know what to do. It's pulling us over. Where is it going? It says take control, hands-free, road information, no road information. It's not available.
Yep. And
Still not. It says take control. I am. So now what we can do is we can revert to this, which is hands-on lane centering. So now I can just keep my hand on the wheel lightly like it is now. Super Cruise is off. I can tell because no green bar, but it's still staying in the middle of the lane timing.
Perfect.
This is what we've been needing for so long. Now, I think my guess, and I don't know if we'll be able to replicate this again, when you come in and out of Super Cruise zones, I think it still does the freak out.
Yeah.
And it should just revert.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be able to find out. So right now, it's no Super Cruise is available in any other General Motors product that requires mapped roads. You would have to steer. You can see it's asking me to apply light steering. I'm just going to put a little bit of torque in the wheel, and there we go. This is such a huge benefit to any General Motors driver. And it's going to keep asking. That's fine. You just keep a nice light force on the wheel. We've driven so many systems like this. Pretty much everyone probably has driven a system like this.
Yeah, I would say so.
By this point. And I can't believe they've done it. So props to GM for listening to our complaining.
They finally have put 2018 tech in their 2025 vehicles.
Yeah, we've wanted them to just go backwards. Just give us dumb lane centering. Yeah. Oh, now it's freaking out. It says take control. I am hands-free driving. So as it switches in and out of Super Cruise zones, it still has to go through its process.
Which is unfortunate, but kind of makes sense. We're getting to the future here. It doesn't all happen at once.
So Ford actually does this better now. So Ford offers Blue Cruise, which is similar to Super Cruise, which is hands-free, lane centering, and it does eye tracking. That guy is full send in reverse. He must be like at red line backwards. The way this works, we're going to exit up here, is very similar. So Ford has Blue Cruise, then they have just Copilot 360, which is lane centering without eye tracking.
Yep.
And it's just torque sensing. This does the same thing, but it freaks out going in between the modes. The Ford system smoothly transitions. The problem with the Ford system is actually what's the word I'm looking for? Transitions so smoothly, you have no idea when you're coming in and out of hands-free unless you look at the screens. So we need like a little chime or a little ding.
If you are paying attention as you should, then...
Well, you wouldn't know to then touch the wheel.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think Ford needs to add a little chime. This hitting the brakes and like going into emergency mode when it loses mapping, it shouldn't do that. It should just go ding, ding, Super Cruise isn't available. I'm going to keep on adaptive cruise control. You're not going to get the brake lights on. You're not going to have to push it with the accelerator
Yeah,
pedal.
and that seems a little dangerous on the highway, especially if everyone is doing 80 miles an hour and the car just freaks out and moves to the right.
Yeah, well, you saw how much it freaked out the first time we popped out. And so you need to take over. So you need to interact with it, and then it will revert to basic lane centering. But even on like a road like this, you know, for example, I've got it set to, you know, right now we'll set it to the speed limit. It's lane centering. Will it do a lane change? No. So it doesn't do lane changes. To do a lane change, I can just force input into the steering wheel, and then it should snap back in. But the snapping in is taking a minute here, Timon, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
because it's still manual. Now it's on. Go. So it seems to be like it should be like a 1 second delay or a 1.5 seconds, and it waits like 5+ seconds.
Yeah, it's probably like 10 seconds or something. But how's the snap when you go to make a lane change?
So very, very light breakaway.
That's nice.
Yeah, just put in the steering. As soon as the car knows that you're not just putting in weight, but you're actually putting in steering, it's good. And you can see it comes off pretty quickly like that right there. And then it's back on. So, and you can turn on and off that function with this button on the steering wheel right there, which is the Super Cruise button, but now it's just all kinds of lane centering. And it seems to be pretty good. I wish this one was optioned with the head-up display. I think it would make it easier to know what mode it's in and what's happening, rather than having to look down here every time. But I cannot believe the day has come that GM is offering non-mapped lane centering in their vehicles. I am thrilled. Seriously, it's amazing. So thanks for watching another Out of Spec Bits video. How long was this clip?
8 minutes.
Perfect. Thanks for watching. Videos can't be less than 8 minutes. We'll see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.